Hello everybody, welcome to Raven's Craft Magic. This is a special episode on a topic I have been studying recently. This topic is called Runic Astrology. This study relates to how the planets affect our minds and influence us to act or behave in certain ways, and also it determines our zodiac sign and horoscope and things like that, depending on the date and time and place you were born. Alright, runes. Runes are graphic symbols used by the ancient Teutonic peoples of Northern Europe for magic and written communication. By runes, I am referring to the Futhark runes in Norse mythology. Each rune is both an occult sigil representing a god or power of nature, and the letter of an alphabet. When they are used as letters, they form intelligible words and convey messages that are usually quite straightforward and simple, but when they are used for magical purposes, they often appear unintelligible, but are grouped in numerical series with single runes repeated significant number of times. Now, runes were used for many different things. A rune is not just like a letter, which has one meaning. Runes have several layers or levels of meaning. Obviously it's the symbol. You can use that as a letter in a name, but there's another level to runes. There's actually a feeling or a vibration. When you figure out what the rune means, in your mind, like for example the Laguz rune, you relate that to water, and you can feel the level or the vibration of water when you think about it, and you close your eyes, you can feel water, the temperature of it, you're floating, it's rushing past you, that kind of thing. And water often represents the unconscious mind, as it's constantly flowing or going whether we want it to or not. So once your mind makes the connection about what the rune is, you can start moving on to the next level and the next vibrations of the rune and the next meanings of the runes. Now, other than using runes for art and jewelry, the runes were used a lot in magical work. Runes have powers. Like what you see here is called a Galdra staff here, and it is a type of way to create symbols and runes to have magical effects. Now, for a better explanation about the runes, I recommend a book called The Futhark by Edred Thorson. It's a very good book. There are 2 more in the series. I recommend reading all 3, and once you do that, you will have a very good understanding of runes, how they were used, and how you can apply them to use in your own life. Alright, let's move on. Now, what do the runes have to do with planetary magic or corresponding planets? Well, this is something I came upon almost accidentally. I am a follower of Asatru, and I study Norse mythology, and also I study planetary magic. And in my studies, I kind of realized that, some of the runes and some of the Norse gods, they go very well with the planets and their correspondences, such as the god Tyr. Now, he has a symbol, Tiwaz, and if you look closely at the Mars symbol, the planetary magic Mars symbol, it has the Tiwaz rune in the symbol, and Mars is red. He is, the aggressor, the warrior, and the Norse god Tyr, he fits well with that planet, and they connect and they correspond. And I was like, wow, this is working. I'm not sure about the other sets of runes. There's different kinds of runes other than the Futhark runes. There's an older version and a newer version, but the Futhark, the Elder Futhark, has 24 runes, which line up perfectly with the astrology wheel and the planets. So I went further down the line thinking, hey, Venus, harmony, love, beauty, that fits with Freya. So I kept going along and along, and I started making connections with Norse gods and the planets, and I was excited because I kind of felt as if I was, delving in the opposite side of things, other than Norse mythology. I was doing planetary magic. But now I'm excited to say that they do connect and they work well together. And also, I have a good friend that makes runes And if you want your own set of runes, check him out on Facebook. He's got a little business going called Odin's Beard Woodworking. Now, information is pretty rare about this topic, but I did find a book called Runic Astrology by Donald Tyson. It explains a lot of cool stuff. I was excited that I found it because someone else is actually making these connections too. I'm not only the crazy one. Anyway, I want to read you a little bit from this book while I show you a couple charts and graphs that connect and correspond the runes with the zodiac and the planets. The inherent limitations of geomantic astrology have caused me to abandon the systems of both Gerard Soromanus and Cornelius Agrippa and create my own system of non-celestial astrology that is based upon the set of ancient Teutonic symbols known as the runes. This is possible because the runes may be structurally related to the zodiac, allowing them to indicate the placement of the planets with the accuracy of a 5 degrees arc. The result is symbolically correct and precise, astrological charts that can be read according to astrological principles. It gains additional meaning through the consideration of the chart in conjunction with the runes by which it was formed. Each rune possesses its own divinatory meaning. A third level of interpretation is available when the runes used in the forming chart are examined separately as they relate to one another. Okay, now it says there is no ancient assignment of these 24 runes to the zodiac planets and the occult elements. Even so, the runes can be linked individually with the 7 traditional planets of astrology and the 12 signs. The Futhark does have an ancient and inherent structure that allows it to be assigned with confidence to the zodiac and rationally distributed in a great ring around the heavens. This underlying structure must be explained in detail because it is the basic for runic astrology. The Futhark is built upon 2 essential divisions. The first is universally recognized, and the second, although not beyond dispute, is strongly supported by internal evidence. The 24 runes are divided into 3 ayat families of 8 runes. Each ayat is named with the first rune in the top of the row. Fihu ayat represents Leo, Aquarius, Taurus, and Scorpio. The Haugalaz ayat represents Sagittarius, Pisces, Virgo, and Gemini. And the Tiwaz ayat represents Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, and Aries. The association between the families of the runes and the group of 4 signs of the zodiac is determined by the nature of the naming rune that begins each ayat and acts as the keynote of its collective quality. Fihu is the first rune for cattle, and by extension movable possessions. It is material and passive, corresponding to the physical level in humanity and the fixed signs in astrology. Now, it's natural to relate the 4 pairs in each ayat to the 4 elements: fire, earth, air, fire, and water. Okay, trying to make some sense out of this for you. For example, Leo is a fire sign, and the 6 runes that occupy it are the fire runes. So the fire signs are arranged counterclockwise in this order. So basically there are 6 runes in each group, and they can be represented as the 4 elementals. So obviously the Norse had time to look at the sky and study the stars and the planets, and they had to know the seasons and the time to plant and things like that. Now, it's almost ridiculous to say that they didn't align their energies or their gods with the stars and the lights in the sky, because that's where religion basically came from. I don't care what anybody has to say. Religion came from when the ancients looked up at the sky and saw these glowing objects and wondered what their magical or spiritual powers were, or what they were, and were awed by them, and this kind of, put the mysteries in their mind and got them thinking. And I think that really started the whole, God things. The entities and the lights in the sky represented their gods. The runes have connections with the gods, and the gods have connections with the planets, as well as your zodiac sign. My belief is that these planets and stars have everything to do with what's going on in our minds, bodies, and on this earth. Without those, certain calculations and perfect alignments and, everything had to line up perfectly to create what we are and where we are. And I think it all has to do with the planets and the stars. Our creators are right there in front of us. We look at them every day and every night. And I believe the ancients knew about this as well. It all makes perfect sense to me when you make all the connections. I mean, sure, you can make connections with just about anything, but these line up a little bit too good. And I just wanted to share this all with you. You can look back in history and see many religions and cultures that honored the stars and the sky as their gods. The Aztecs is a recent topic I have been studying. Of course, the Egyptians, they have their pyramids and everything lined up with the stars, and so on. I mean, so to say that the Norse never used the stars or connected the planets with the runes kind of seems absurd to me. So this is a new thing. I just wanted to share it with you all, and I hope you enjoy it, and maybe you can do some studying and exploring yourself and get back to me on what you find. Like I said, I have not yet finished this whole book, but as soon as I do, I will be making another video on this. I just wanted to get this out there and possibly inspire you to start your own study on a topic like this, and maybe even make a video on it yourself. We're all here to learn and teach each other, and as I always say, stay on the positive path, and I will see you next time. Thanks.